Yo, 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 it's SuperMegaCast, episode 81.
Yo, 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 it's the realest podcast you've ever fucking listened.
Yo, yo,
What
dog.
up, y'all?
How y'all doing? It's your boy Matt, and who am I here on the couch with?
Backthroat Ryan.
Backthroat Ryan?
Yeah, because I talk out of the back
Oh
of
yeah,
my
you gotta talk
throat.
out of the back of your throat to talk.
You gotta
Whoa, but I never thought about that. You gotta like shift your voice to the back of your throat.
Isn't that cool?
That's cool.
Humans are awesome. You know who's even more awesome in
Who?
regards to vocal talent?
Who?
Whales.
Dude.
Sea mammals.
Sea mammals, like,
Well, just pretty much whales and dolphins.
because whales can scream at such a distance.
Is that what they're doing?
They're
They're screaming?
It's a loud sound that they're making with their throat, and it's going miles and miles. So in my book, that's a scream. And before we get into the juicy meat of today's podcast, I'd like to take a moment.
Of silence for our troops.
I would like to do that. But first, I'd like to talk about our sponsor. If you're trying online dating, chances are you've run into, lazy text messages, dead-end conversations, and random matches that don't turn into dates.
You can't get to know someone by just their Let's Player profile picture. Ever since my stepdad started an open relationship with my mom, he's found tons of relationships using eHarmony.
eHarmony takes steps that other dating sites don't in order to find you a more compatible match. What do we all want? We all want that connection, man. You want that romance. You want it in your life, man. You want to grab it and touch it. You want that romance.
You want that special someone you can spend the rest of your life with and eventually become two urns on your son's mantle.
It uses your interests. It brings compatible people together.
They have helped over 1 million people find their perfect match.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of couples, Ryan. You could have some kind of like big prom with all those couples. And get this, Ryan. eHarmony uses years and years of science, data, and psychological research to send you the right matches. This ain't just some hookup site that's throwing you people left and right. This is using like
They're not throwing you
personalized
bones,
stuff.
they're throwing you T-bone steaks.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, our listeners can get a free month of eHarmony when they sign up for a 3-month subscription. Enter the code SuperMega at checkout.
Stop waiting and start your journey to a satisfying, meaningful relationship. It can be fun to play around with online dating apps, but when you're ready to fall in love with someone and have a meaningful relationship, there's one app that's built to bring you real love.
Ryan, are you okay?
Sorry. Oh, I got a little lightheaded thinking about love.
Come see how eHarmony can change your life. Go to eHarmony.com and get started. Enter the code SuperMega at checkout for a free month.
Yeah, and now for that moment of silence.
The troops?
Yes.
Can you do a dolphin sound effect?
I could
can't.
try.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to make a dolphin sound, so this will be the first time
okay.
I've ever tried in my life.
Okay, go.
All right.
Yeah. Dude, that was perfect.
Was that good? Did that sound like
Yeah.
a dolphin?
That sounded like a SpongeBob dolphin hybrid.
I used to be able to. I could try SpongeBob's laugh.
Yeah. See, perfect.
Is that good enough?
Tom Kenny, you're out of a job.
Yo, Tom Kenny, I'm about to replace him.
If Matt can do SpongeBob's voice, then why do they need to be paying you?
And again, shout out to Tom Kenny's son who occasionally watches SuperMega.
He might have grown out of
He
it.
might have been like, these guys have said so many crude things about my father,
Made fun of his future death.
which he brought up himself. Mac Kinney, Tom Kenny's son.
Brought up his dad's death.
No, he brought up the fact that in some AMA he brought up that he's like, I don't want to know what they say about my dad because I don't even remember. We've said some pretty bad shit about Tom Kenny.
Yeah, but it's out of love.
Yeah, of course, dude. I love Tom Kenny.
Yeah.
Except his Wikipedia picture looks like his face was like photoshopped onto his body. There's something weird with the lighting. I tweeted this out a while back. Like, it looks real weird. Like, the lighting on his face is opposite from the lighting on his body. I can't explain it. Go look at it.
I liked him as one of the gangster robots in Transformers 2.
He was in Transformers 2?
Yeah, buddy, he talked like this, and he has gold chains and teeth and shit.
Really?
Yeah.
He was in Camp Lazlo. Remember that cartoon?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I was never a big fan. I could watch it, but I was never a big fan. And you know what show I honestly was never really that into? Like
Brickleberry.
Brickleberry was bad.
It
I watched
was.
like one
I
episode.
couldn't do it.
I only watched it because I was like, oh, Daniel Tosh is in this.
He's like, whoa, Daniel Tosh is epic.
And then I watched it and I was like, wow, this is... I'm not a big fan of this show. It's not very good. And then like, what else was he in? He was in something else.
Daniel Tosh? He was
No.
in Love Guru.
Aaron said that Aaron was saying that he watched The Love Guru recently, and he was like, it does not I could see why it would end Mike Myers' career. Like he just disappeared off the face of the earth after that.
Well, that's because he's been traveling to Africa a lot to like work on like building shelters and stuff.
Oh shit! Well,
That's false. Could you imagine?
Oh, okay. I was about to say like here I am insulting the man's acting, and then he's actually off doing some like amazing benevolent thing.
Well, he did try to raise money at when was that?
After Hurricane Katrina?
Yeah.
With Kanye West?
Yeah, we talked about that. This was super early back in the day in like the Super Mega. But that's one of my favorite just things to watch every now and then.
It's
go back
so
and
funny.
watch it. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
And you see Mike Myers' face, he's like,
I know.
and they just cut. They cut to something else.
Fucking Austin Powers and Shrek just speechless.
Man, I forgot Mike Myers voiced Shrek and he was Austin Powers. There was a period in the early
Dwayne,
2000s where, yeah, dude, he had it in his, like, in the bag. And then he just, was it the Love Guru that ultimately doomed him?
Well, I mean, comedy changed and his style of comedy wasn't, just like, you know how you don't see any goofy Jim Carrey movies anymore? I know you could say that's because he doesn't want to act, but you know, Liar Liar worked really well because in the time that was funny, the comedy worked in the time, and then he comes out with Mr. Popper's Penguins. That didn't do too hot. Or even Yes Man wasn't even a good movie, but it harkened back to a movie such as Liar Liar.
Yeah.
Like his early days of Jim Carrey.
I wonder if that kind of like goofy early 2000s comedy will ever make a comeback.
Like as a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
You know how Amblin film stuff is kind of coming back into the works through Stranger Things
and
stuff like that.
yeah.
Just in general 80s nostalgia.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, I don't know. I feel like goofy 2000s nostalgia doesn't like have the same charm as like 80s nostalgia.
I mean, Johnny English is getting a third movie. So.
What?
Yeah,
with Mr. Bean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Mr. Bean's Holiday, phenomenal movie, man.
You always say that, and
it's good. It's a good movie.
I saw it with my dad, and I can't remember hating it.
It's a feel-good movie. I watch it, and I'm like, this is a beautiful story of a mentally challenged man finding his way to the beach.
I need to watch it again. Was there a point where he was like on top of a bus?
Going like probably. You know, knowing Mr. Bean. You know,
yeah,
goofy
you never know
Mr.
what
Bean.
to
You never know what he's up to. He needs like a keeper, doesn't he? Like, wouldn't you think like as an adult, Mr. Bean would
like
need
they
a
bring him
keeper?
out in a cage and like they train him for movies and then they let him out. Go, Mr. Bean, go.
He's not even an acter. He's like that's really who he is.
No, that like he's actually a really good actor. He's just doing what he's doing method acting.
Like Daniel Day-Lewis.
I have to become the Bean.
He hits himself in the head with a hammer several times each morning.
My favorite case of method acting by a well-renowned actor was the kid from Even Stevens who played Beans.
Beans, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He apparently he went out into the woods and spent about 2 weeks without a tent or anything just to encapsulate the character, which is interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a crazy thing to do for Even Stevens.
Yeah, he's a cool kid. Now he's directing just kind of like low indie style films like about race relations and stuff.
He's an interesting fellow, I do have to say. Met him twice.
Yeah.
Very, very weird guy.
Yeah, I've never met him, but we talk on Skype occasionally.
Yeah, he's sweet. He's sweet though.
Where is the line with us? Where is the line of lies, dumbness, and jokes?
Well, honestly, I didn't know if you were
seriousness?
telling the truth or not with that whole that whole thing. I was like, is Ryan bullshitting me? Did he really spend 2 weeks in the woods for Even Stevens
to become Beans?
I was like,
at the age of like 7.
Well, maybe it was for like the movie where they're trapped on a desert island.
I liked the Even Stevens movie. I really did. The only parts that I didn't like when I was a young kid were the sister with the hunk dude, because I was like. Because whenever the hunk dude appeared, I was like, I'm not attracted to him. I don't know what am I supposed to be doing? But I realize now it's like that's for the young girls watching Disney Channel. Like for me, like whenever those scenes popped up, I'm like, nothing is happening. I'm not learning anything besides that. You know, he's a troubled, struggling actor with a lot of depth who has to make the decision of love or money.
Absolutely. You could probably take they could make a college course on Even Stevens.
Yeah.
Do you think that am I the only one that was like freaked out by the intro? Like, the theme song to Even Stevens scared the ever-living shit out of me. Yeah, it was so scary to me. I don't know why. Like, it freaks me. Still to this day, if I watch it, it makes me feel bad.
To me, it made me feel like I was watching a much more mature show than it was. And if you look back at Even Stevens, it is one of the most immature shows.
It is.
But for some reason that feeling, it's like the same feeling you got when watching South Park. It's that crudeness in animation where you're like, this isn't bubbly like Disney stuff usually is.
Yeah, it was
like,
crude.
You know how Lizzie McGuire was super bubbly, like little 2D cartoon popping up.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Falls in love in Rome and then gets betrayed and then has to sing her heart out.
I remember the Lizzie McGuire movie. And like, she's on a moped with some guy or something. Am I making that up? Is that in the movie?
She like friend zones Gordo throughout the whole thing. I think he gets a kiss at the end.
Poor Gordo, man.
But I don't think that translates back into the show. I don't think they ever become a couple.
She's just teasing him, man. Gordo probably had the biggest case of blue balls in history.
Oh yeah,
poor Gordo, man.
He had that early 2000s like cross between a perm and just young kid hair. It was just curly and poofy.
Just kind of, it's kind of like if you had it now, you'd be like, what is that hairstyle? What are you doing, man?
My favorite Disney Channel thing was learning that the brother from Hannah Montana was like 30 or 40 years old. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah. And, fuck, dude, you know, like, going back to method acting real quick, are there, like, movie scenes where characters have to be drunk? I was watching Superbad recently, and I was thinking, like, man, the party scene, like, they're really convincingly drunk.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, a lot of actors in scenes where they have to be drunk, do you think they ever actually get drunk for those scenes to, like, make it more real?
That's difficult because that could impede your performance, but it also could help. I think the way it would help a performance is if the script was, not the script, but the movie in general was more improv based, allowing the actor's character to kind of come out through the drunkenness. But if you're trying to be a character and you're drunk, then I think that your personal kind of, your personal being will leak into the character a little bit.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's totally true.
But like for stuff like Superbad where they're improvising pretty much the whole movie, I mean, I'm sure maybe they were drunk. I'm sure some of them were high during the shooting of it. I mean, knowing all of them.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
You know, Seth Rogen movie. Definitely.
I mean, Pineapple Express, dude.
I have not seen Pineapple Express.
That sticky, icky marijuana, dude.
Dude, don't you ever say the words marijuana on this podcast, Ryan.
I'm sorry.
You're going to get us demonetized. You're going to get all of our brand, our advertisers to pull out.
Prop 64, 8, what is it? Prop whatever.
Prop 420. No, for real. Like, I think that one of the marijuana laws was like Prop 420.
Where? Here?
Here in California.
When?
Like recently.
Oh, I thought that was like Prop 60 something.
There was some marijuana thing that they actually like labeled 420.
Oh.
Play the air horns, right? Da, 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 da.
Yeah. Excited for all those good action movies coming out on 420.
Is 420 like a Friday this year?
Yeah. Well, Adam from YMS uploaded images like interesting release date, and it was a picture of the release date of Rampage, the new future hit blockbuster from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, where they're fighting big monsters.
Dude, he is like
we played Rampage.
We did.
And you
played,
liked it.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
I feel like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, like there's got to be some global conspiracy where he must have blackmail on like every big Hollywood producer, and he's like, all right, put me in your movies now, or else I'll release it.
It's like a Tom Cruise case where Hollywood picks this one person to pamper up.
Yeah.
You know how, there was, also you think of Robert Downey Jr., how he came back from, I'm surprised he was able to come back. I don't think he could come back today in the kind of political climate of today. I don't think Robert Downey Jr. could do the comeback he did back in 2008.
Wait, what did he come back from?
Being drunk and drugs and
that's
shit.
Right. I forgot.
Like hookers, I think.
He had a little rough phase.
Yeah, and then he came back with Iron Man, which was a super interesting choice by Marvel or whatever executive. I don't know if the Favreau made the decision or if there was like more of the casting director, but damn, that saved his career. And then he became the top most paid actor. But now it's of course Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Dude, but the thing about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is like, I mean, I don't know the man, but he seems like such a nice guy. I'd be like, I could.
You say that, and then every now and then he'll post a video on Instagram where he'll be like, hold on one second. Then he'll go up to like a group of fans and like kind of be like, haha, and like smile at the camera. And like he'll pay 50% of his attention is to the camera. And then 50% of like I'd say 60 to 70% of the time his eyes are at the camera. And then the 30% or whatever is down at this kid or fan. And he always films himself like stopping to greet fans and stuff. And I'm like, okay, or you could just do it.
Yeah.
But hey. I mean, you know what? Maybe it's just like, hey, don't feel bad to stop me. I'll stop for anyone, and you'll be famous for it.
Yeah.
For like a day.
He's got to have a good, good public face. His PR people are probably like, Dwayne, please film this. So I was in an Uber actually, and
with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh my god, I wish. Dude, I'm sure he'll be in some movie where he's like a goofy taxi driver, like an Uber driver. It's got to happen.
Well, he's gonna become the Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger throwback thing. When he's old, he's gonna be making like the Expendables type of thing.
Expendables 86.
Yeah.
Dude, but my Uber driver, I don't remember how we got on this topic, but we're talking about Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and he was like, "Oh man, he's so big," and I was like, "Yeah, I think he's Samoan," and then Uber's like a pause. He's like, "So are Samoans big?" And then I was just like, I think yeah, I think they tend to be like larger
people,
just larger people, like more muscular, like just bigger, and he's like, "Huh, I didn't know that." Everyone was like, just like a long pause, and I was like, why did it get so awkward?
That either sounds like he just figured something out, like he was about to go fuck with some Samoans, and then
he's like, shit.
He's like, shit, I gotta rethink this attack strategy.
He was gonna go to like a Samoan camp and just like play some pranks on him.
He's gonna go to like a Samoan Boy Scouts meeting, but they're all like as large as Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but they're 15 years old.
Yeah, probably, man. I feel like a Samoan 14-year-old could kick my ass, Like, put me, okay, give me, let me work out for 3 months straight, nothing but protein, and give me, dual swords, and then put me in the ring with, two Samoans.
No.
2 Samoan 14-year-olds, and they'll still kick my ass.
If you're going to fight a Samoan, you need to put a big, long tree branch over the diameter of a volcano, and then you give each of you 2 giant what are they called?
I know what you're talking about. The big, it's like a big Q-tip.
Yeah, like just big giant Q-tips, and you all got to battle it out, and it's like a battle to the death thing. If you fall into the volcano, you lose, of course.
Yeah, because you die.
You don't win.
Have you ever seen a video of what it would look like if you fell into lava?
Isn't it just it explodes because of the water and shit in your body?
It's terrifying. I watched some video where they threw the corpse of a pig for science into a volcano.
It doesn't just sink into lava.
No, it hits it, and the lava explodes and erupts, and it's very violent. Falling into lava would not be a fun way to die, because I don't think it would be instant. I don't think it's all right, I'm dead. I feel like you would live for maybe 10 seconds, but it wouldn't be a fun 10 seconds.
Unless you dive head first.
That's true.
I don't know. Then there's still a 5-second period at least a 2-second period of it going to your skull.
I don't know, man. Nerve endings apparently take 11 seconds to burn off if you're on fire.
This is different. This is molten fucking magma.
That's true. Fire's hot, but magma.
This is a completely different scenario.
Lava is one of my I want to see lava so bad. I've always wanted to see.
I'm afraid I'll trip and fall into it. I'm looking down, accidentally sneeze, lose my balance, and go to catch myself with my hands.
Hands first. Ugh.
Yeah. Then they're just little nubs, and I lose my hands, and then my whole life is shit.
You couldn't be a Let's Player if you had no hands, right?
No, I couldn't play any. Well, I mean, I could be a Let's commentator. I could commentate you playing games.
Ryan, well, here's
you
the
could play
news.
all the games on SuperMega. Let me rethink that, bro.
The good news is you could still do this podcast if you lost both your hands.
Yes, I could. This is a great podcast.
You don't use your hands for the podcast. All you need is that witty brain of yours.
Yeah.
And that big pie hole.
That big old pie hole.
You gotta, those flapping lips. Don't let them stop flapping, buddy. Keep flapping those lips.
Dude, thanks, Dad.
Of course, sport.
Thanks. I'm gonna go out and fucking show the world that I'm the best podcaster ever.
Yo, man, give me a fist, a bro fist me, man.
You know how there's emotional paintings of Jesus in when we were in 2000s, modern day, on a, let's just say an example. I don't think this one exists, but him on a park bench with some sad man, business suits or something, or just with some kid on a beach or whatever.
Yeah.
Just modern day Jesus, except that he's wearing his traditional garb and he's white.
Yeah.
And blue-eyed.
Yeah, white and blue-eyed.
Or green. I don't know. I think blue is beautiful with Jesus, though.
Oh, absolutely.
That supple white skin.
That nice Aryan Jesus.
Yeah.
Aryan Jesus would make a great album name.
That's the Jesus I grew up on. That's old school Jesus.
I mean, you look, he's no, he was just some brown Middle Eastern man. He was not white.
Yeah. He came here, tried to do a good thing for the Jewish people. They were
what did they do, Ryan?
Well, they said no, 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 and threw him up on some sticks.
They pinned the Christ on the cross.
Yep. they
Think any, like,
played
Bible?
human Jenga.
like any little like youth group Bible study had like a party and they played like instead of pin the tail on the donkey, but they played it with like a cross and Jesus, and they didn't realize what they're doing.
Pin
is
the
like,
Jesus on the cross.
Yeah, like in their
he's
mind
upside
it's like,
down.
No, apparently they would crucify people upside down too.
Oh, that's because it's more torture, more
Ugh,
torturous
God,
because of the blood flow to the brain and shit like that.
Ugh.
But I want to see like a well done oil painting of kind of like a millennial holding like their phone. You can see they're kind of on Snapchat, and this is a beautiful oil painting, and they're on Santa Monica Pier or some shit, or Venice Beach Boardwalk, and Jesus. Like, and then this kid has like a tear running down his face.
Yeah.
Or you don't even see the kid's face. He's just looking up at Jesus. So you just know it's that kid. And so that's the emotional thing, because you put yourself in that kid's perspective. I used to be that kid.
Right.
This is what these millennials will think in the future when they see this painting.
Right.
And it's Jesus, and he's just standing there. And it's one of those, what do you call it? Where you can move it. It's not holographic. It's a
Hologram.
I guess it's a
It's a
hologram type
yeah.
thing. You know where you move and it changes?
Yeah.
It's like an oil painting, but with that effect, because future technology, we can make art out of anything.
It's the future,
and
baby. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. 3D print that shit.
No rules.
And he goes from just looking at the kid and he goes, dab. And he dabs.
Jesus dabs.
Jesus dabs at the kid. And then the kid smiles in the third wave form of the holograph. I feel like that's a good kind of testament of our time.
That would be. I could see that being put in like the highest art museum. I could see them taking down the Mona Lisa, throwing it in the trash, and then putting that painting up.
You got to
instead.
throw the Mona Lisa in the trash. The only reason it's popular is because it's an old painting.
Yeah.
You know how many good artists exist today that are just as good, if not better, but don't get the credit
Throw
because
that old
art is
shit
super,
out, man.
just like anyone can do it now.
Exactly. It's like why is the Mona Lisa so famous? Because you know, I like there's a million people that could paint that shit today. Get rid of it. Throw
Yeah.
it away. Throw it in the trash. Burn it.
I think my favorite old painting is, what is it called? It's the one with the guy in the pitchfork with his wife.
Oh yeah.
Farmlands
I know.
one.
I forgot what it's called, but he's in front of the barn with his his angry looking wife.
Yeah.
Looks like he's very unhappy in his marriage. He's holding a pitchfork.
I like that in Poker Dogs or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, the dog's
poker.
playing cards. That's that's a good one.
classic.
That one's fun. Like I like that. That's a good classic painting because it's like, you know, this shit's not boring. It's not like a woman with a blank face staring at me. It's some dogs playing poker, and it's funny because dogs can't play poker. They don't have opposable thumbs. They don't know how poker works.
Do you think back when all this stuff was being painted, it's the dogs playing poker were the Marvel Cinematic Universe of that era, and the Mona Lisa was like the indie film, not the indie films, but stuff like Mona Lisa was like, that's a true artist. That's like the Requiem for a Dream and shit like that.
Yeah,
People lost their shit for dogs and poker. It's just like, oh, but you don't remember this old shit? Mona Lisa? Come on.
there's like, and there were like different like fan bases for these different types
Yeah.
of paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
When did fan bases start coming around? Like, was that, I know, was it always attached to entertainment? I'm not talking about just like political fandomness. I'm talking about, you know what I mean, entertainment fandom almost.
Yeah, like hardcore fan. Well, I think
Kind of like, I love you, oh my God, like that, not a, this person's right and this person will always be right. I mean, that kind of, they bleed in together, but there's a difference in terms of...
I think earliest I could think is stuff like the Beatles and like early rock bands.
Yeah.
Like that.
Elvis,
yeah. And then I think the internet revolutionized it and made it easy for those people to like congregate.
Now anyone can be an Elvis.
Anyone can be an Elvis, dude.
Does that just make entertainers less special now? Or do you think it makes them like more special because now it's this thing that like anybody can do and it's this open free market type
I think it makes
of
it more
thing?
special. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean that the coolest thing to me about the internet is like anybody can, because like back in the day, if you wanted to be a musician, you know, you'd have to like go to a record company and
You'd have to actually want it.
you'd have to sell your soul. Now any talentless hack like you and me can just
Could go to a Guitar Center, pick up whatever they think looks shiny and nice, and then learn some chords
play Wonderwall
on YouTube.
Play the first. Dude, I actually like that stereotype of the college freshman that goes out in the quad and plays 4 chords. That's true. I saw that.
Oh,
all
it
the
happened all the
time.
time at USC, especially in the Horseshoe.
Or like you'll be at a party and some guy will pull out an acoustic guitar and you're like, damn it.
That happened more at youth group than at college.
Oh
for
my
me.
God, yeah, dude. Some kid whip out the guitar and I'd be like, shit.
Everyone would sit around. It's like, fuck, how do I? So to combat that, I would make my own little interesting lesson plans. And then when we go on a retreat, I would take some kids who wanted to, and I'd be like, hey, let's learn about Jesus. And I'd be like, share interesting facts. I'm like, did you know there's references to dinosaurs in the Bible?
Are there?
Depending on what interpretation. The Bible's all interpretation, you know what I mean?
It's completely interpretation.
So you can take it as a dinosaur, but you can also take it as an elephant. It's a behemoth. They call it a behemoth, and like water monsters.
Like a Samoan.
Yeah,
you know?
Could have been Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
They could have discovered Samoa.
Dude, if Jesus looked like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, we're back on him again. You can't get off of him. He's too big to climb down too quickly. So we're on his knees. We're almost off of him.
We're on our way off Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
But like, he should play Jesus. Have you seen how he looks in Hercules, that live action Hercules movie?
Yeah.
That's how he should look, but for Jesus. I would 100% go see an action-packed Jesus movie. No one's made that. Have they?
Jesus Christ Superstar.
No.
Okay, what about Dwayne the Rock Johnson? How he was in The Mummy as Jesus? That like terrible CG, whatever he was.
Are they crucifying like his like Jesus in this telling has like a scorpion body and shit? So like the cross, instead of being in a cross, it just looks more like a
railroad track.
Phone tower.
Yeah,
with the different planks for each legs and shit.
Oh
and then his long little what is it called? Stinger could be pinched on the bottom of the cross.
Dude, scorpions are terrifying. And real quick, let's get back to dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
Can we talk can you believe that like this planet, like where we are right now, like was ruled by these massive alien things?
An unfathomable amount of time ago too. Like it wasn't just like, oh, thousands of years ago, giant no, millions. And then, like, some dinosaurs we think existed in the same period, like, some dinosaurs existed millions of years apart.
Yeah. Like
different periods and shit, Cretaceous, all that.
Like, I think the T-Rex was... I might be wrong, but, like, the T-Rex and the Stegosaurus...
Yeah, I see. I was about to say the Stegosaurus, too, which leads me to believe you and I came to almost the same conclusion, which means it has more of a possibility of being right. But, because it wasn't when you said it. It was that you said it that reaffirmed me going, okay, I was about to say Stegosaurus too.
Yeah. So it could be. But
so look it up, folks.
Two dinosaurs existed farther apart from each other than we did from like the T-Rex or something.
Yeah.
It's like, that's crazy to me.
Well, it took a long time for nature to get its shit together and go, hey, humans are a thing now.
Yeah, we appeared in like so recently in history, and then we dominated the world and also fucked it up real bad.
We had our fucking heads held high, and we're just like, it's human time, baby.
Dude, it's human time.
Enough of them lizards. Well, they all got fucking destroyed. So
did some monkey just get lucky and then just be like, hey, I'm a human now. Here I am.
Some deformed monkey fucked a non-dominant monkey, and then the dominant genes of the deformed monkey
passed on.
I say deformed, but there's an actual scientific word for it. What is it? Like a it's
Ryan,
what is it?
Ryan just described his birth. I'm sorry, man.
Is the exception,
but genetic mutation?
Yes, mutation. But I just say deformity because it is deformed compared to what's going on.
Yeah, it's a mutation. It's not normal, dude. Evolution's so cool. Like genetics are really cool. I remember learning about that in high school and being like, this is so cool. Like DNA, like what the fuck? DNA is so mind-blowing and intricate. It's like code that's in your body that makes up everything that you are.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's like clouds are 90% water, watermelons are 90% water. They must have come from the same thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Clouds have the same DNA as watermelons.
There's a little running bit back from my junior year.
Give him a shout out, man.
I don't want to say his name.
Well, he know. I'm sure
his
he
wife
listens
taught me
to
math, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
His wife taught you math?
Yeah, taught me math, how to count in high school.
All right, Ryan. What comes after 2?
I don't like calculus. This is algebra, Ryan.
This isn't even algebra. This is like
geometry.
This is the most basic of maths. What comes after 2?
I didn't like geometry. Oh, that's not. It's 3, by the way. I'm not avoiding the subject. What was your favorite math?
Geometry.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was obnoxious.
I was the best at it. Maybe because it's visual.
Is long division under algebra?
Dude, you love your long division, man.
I love
For your birthday, I'm going to get you like a long division workbook.
Just get me a workbook where on each page is a blank template where it's just like the long division thing, and then on each page I can just fill in the numbers the way I want.
That's like something like...
Well, I'd solve the problems. I'm not just going to throw numbers in there. Well, I will, but for the start of the problem.
Dude, I got to see you do some long division. Like, you've talked about it a lot. Like, are you some savant with long division?
Well, it's super easy.
Are you going to, like, am I going to
It's not hard.
Am I going to sit you down with, like, all right, Ryan, do some long division. You're going to be, like, solving these, like, massive numbers in 3 seconds. Like, carry the one move.
I just liked long division because of how much work it looked like you were doing, essentially.
Like, you look like some genius badass, but you're just like,
yeah, woo, oh! And you can add decimals, so you can get down to the decimal point with that shit. You're like, oh!
like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Imagine Michael Jackson doing long division.
That's how he got his start. He did it live on stage. And then he did the moonwalk afterwards in celebration.
There's like a whiteboard. And he's like, he's got some chalk. He's like, ow! And he's spinning around and grabbing his crotch.
Carry the 2, put the decimal point. Ow! Back out 100s. Ow!
And he'd grab his crotch out of sexual excitement because long division would get him real riled up. And that's why he liked kids. He wanted to teach them the joy of long division. He didn't want to sleep with kids.
No, I mean, he did sleep with kids.
He did.
He didn't.
Not necessarily have sex with, but sleep. He did. He admitted to sleeping with kids.
Yeah, he did sleep with kids because they're innocent little creatures.
That's a problem with saying like
he's innocent.
Sleep with someone. Like you could sleep with a girl,
Yeah.
and you just slept with her. You didn't.
Did you sleep with her, dude? Yeah, man. I
slept with her. I didn't have sex with her.
Her feet were where my head were because she didn't want our faces to be in the
Close
same area.
in the same proximity. No?
I mean, she was staying at my place, so I did have to wash my pillowcases because her feet were on my pillowcases. But yeah, I slept with her.
That's gross, man. You don't want to get that foot fungus. Oh my god! I recently discovered a meme that I actually think
Ugandan
is
Knuckles.
It's not.
It's the newest meme, dude.
It's almost as funny as Ugandan Knuckles.
Went in VR chat the other night. Do you know the way? Do you know the way? Good shit.
Are just a bunch of kids doing it now?
Yes. Just kids. Really.
I want to see this. And you said they just like spam it. They just say it over and over and over again.
Do you know the way? Do you know the way? Do you know the way? Do you know the way?
Yeah.
That's really funny, man. That's our future
They do that
generation.
shit? Yeah. It's great. Hey, we did stupid shit. You were on a tangent though. Continue.
I was talking about there's one of these top 15 videos from one of these like weird channels, and I gotta show it to you.
Top 15 Louis C.K. phone calls of all time. No.
Hey, can I masturbate in front of you?
Number 1 will surprise you.
It's like top 4chan mysteries that were solved, and the video starts and
hello, these are the top 4chan mysteries that haven't been solved.
It's this guy, and his voice is literally he's like number 15 Burger King foot lettuce.
He's like, and all of a sudden you hear in the mic just number 14.
Like, dude, hold on, I gotta play this.
He's
for you
blowing
real
his
quick.
nose off camera.
I have to
Does
play.
he sound like a bro?
No, he sounds like there's something wrong with him.
What?
Here, I'll just search the
You're
words.
just making fun of the dude for his voice?
Yeah. Look, Burger King
That's
foot
fair.
lettuce. Here, listen to this.
His voice is goofy.
Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus, but as it turns out,
That's
that
on
might be what you
purpose. That's
get.
not.
A 4chaner uploaded a photo anonymously to
That,
the site.
pause it real quick.
showcasing
That reminds me of that cooking guy that I found, where whenever he talked, he would talk like this because it sounded like he recorded every line separately from the other. Because it would be like, first you want to take the lobster, and then you want to open the lobster, and then you want to suck out the juices of the lobster
Because
with your foreskin.
Because when you what?
What?
When you record like voice lines separately, you miss like the natural flow and cadence of like
Yeah.
the way it would normally be said. But Burger King foot lettuce.
He's reading off of a teleprompter that does like one letter at a time, but it's going fast. Foot lettuce. He has to give his brain enough time to catch
The
up.
last thing you want in your burger is foot fungus. But as it turns out, that might be what you get. Shout out to whoever that top. He has like 2 million subs.
Shit, man.
What?
I just remembered.
What'd you remember?
I left the heat on.
Oh, Ryan.
I guess it's cold out, so it's cool.
It's pretty cold out. Like LA's been
But
cold
like
recently.
leaving my heat on for
Monetary reasons.
8 hours.
Yeah, that's
I'm sure would be expensive. Oh well. I'll take.
Little Lego is gonna be burned to a crisp when you get home.
Oh, he's fine.
It's gonna be a tiny little cooked pup.
That's why he has his fur. He can get air go through in it. Works like a little fan of his.
What?
That's how dogs cool off. The air goes through their fur in a way where it cools them off.
Really?
Yeah, their fur works as like air conditioning type thing.
Like an insulation system?
Yeah.
Are you fucking with me, Ryan?
No.
Is this a Ryan McGee lie?
Mm-mm.
I can see it in your eyes. You're lying to me.
I'm not lying to you, I promise. I
Ryan.
looked it up because I was like, my dog hot.
My dog hot. That search result could either be like your dog is like too hot
That's the
temperature-wise,
first
or you
tweet that
think
led
your
to
dog
a,
is hot.
furry or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like my
Back
dog's
in the
hot.
day. You know what? Can I go check to see if lunch is here?
Dude, go check to see if lunch is
Okay,
here.
I'll be right
Let's
back.
take a little podcast break.
No.
Oh, he's just gonna. All right, I'll.
You got a little segment. It's called Matt's 30-second story time. And
Okay.
Your topic is
What's my topic?
a Middle Eastern god meets an American magician.
Okay. So Ryan has given me the prompt of a Middle Eastern god meets an American magician. Okay, well, American magicians are always goofy white guys, so I'm sure there's a great opportunity for some kind of cultural misunderstanding here. So a Middle Eastern god appears in front of a American magician, and the American magician goes, "Whoa, what is this? Some kind of magic?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, wait, magic's not real because I'm a magician." And I, of all people, know that magic's fake because everything I do is an illusion. And then the Middle Eastern god goes, no, this is real magic. I am from Middle Eastern heaven. And
Is your story done?
is food here?
Did you end it?
Not yet.
Can you wrap it up?
Yeah, I'll wrap it up.
Food's here.
I'll wrap it up right now. And then he takes the magician and he takes him on up to Middle Eastern heaven. They eat falafel and they have a great time together.
It's gotta
and
be hummus.
And the magician
Chickpeas?
does this crazy card flourish for the Middle Eastern god.
Okay.
And the Middle Eastern god gives him a seat on his throne because it was so
Middle
fucking
Eastern
cool
heaven.
in Middle Eastern heaven.
Okay.
Okay, that's my. Hey Ross, what's up?
Yeah, not much. Just I walked in the room. I didn't know you were recording anything.
Well, I look at the screen, Ross. It kind of looks like we're recording, doesn't it?
We're about
Don't
to
be
take
fucking rude about it.
I'm sorry, dude. We got
It's
our
fine.
resident Australian Ross O'Donovan, special guest. He was on a couple podcasts
I
ago.
was.
Yeah.
How's this podcast going?
This
It's
podcast is
alright.
going
It's
great,
very
man.
Chill.
What'd you boys talk about?
So far, Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
He's great.
Yeah, we talked about
Dinosaurs.
I love
Dinosaurs,
dinosaurs. What's your favorite
definitely.
dinosaur?
Dude, I need to do more research on dinosaurs.
I got 3 that I really love.
Sam,
I love Triceratops.
That's a good one.
pretty cool.
I love Velociraptor and I love Pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Pterodactyls are scary as shit. Like,
Pterodactyls are great.
could you imagine like being a prehistoric
They're not
man
dinosaurs though.
and
No.
seeing like a
They're
massive
lizards.
pterodactyl in the sky, like coming at you?
But in the quote unquote
Reptiles,
dinosaur
sorry.
realm.
Yeah.
But it's like pterodactyls, my favorite representation of pterodactyls was actually in a bad movie. It was Jurassic Park 3. I
Yeah.
thought the way they presented them was like really cool
Yeah,
because
it's
they were
awesome.
menacing. And like
They're
I've
really
always seen
menacing.
them as like docile flying animals.
Dude, they would rip the shit out of you.
Oh yeah, they would.
Like
hurt
you see that in the sky coming at you, like dive bombing at
Yeah.
you. That massive beak is gonna.
Oh yeah,
Billy should
scare
have
you.
died in that movie 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, but the actor I think put up a stink about it.
the.
but,
I don't want to
Do
die.
you want to go get lunch and talk about this?
Let's go get some lunch and talk about pterodactyls.
I haven't had lunch. What are you guys gonna get?
No,
It's already here.
It's already here.
Oh,
There's
fuck.
sandwiches from what's it called?
Oh
I
shit,
don't know
I love
the
that
place.
place.
Sandwich
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
get some sandwiches.
All right.
We'll be right back.
All right, I won't be back though.
No.
Bye.
Bye. Well, yeah.
And we're back. We got some sandwiches. Some
Really good sandwiches.
tasty sandwiches.
I had a
a
shrimp sandwich.
I had a chicken club sandwich.
Nice.
I ate half of it, put the other half in the fridge for safekeeping for later.
Same here. I'm gonna take mine, put it in my fridge when I get back. When I get back home.
So then you got a nice snack for later. That's very smart, Ryan.
Exactly. I need to go grocery shopping.
I need to do the same
I need to
because
still like organize shit too.
I have absolutely nothing in the fridge. Nothing at all. Like, and I keep opening the fridge to be like, oh man, I need some food, and then it's all expired food and
Yeah.
nothing.
Tucker drank all of my organic milk.
Hey, but what a funny coincidence. Tucker, I caught him trying to drink my milk last night. He's like, there's no milk. There's like one sip in here. I'm like, well, it's my milk, Tucker. Why would you care if there's only one
I
sip of
know.
milk in there? He was giving me shit for having like no milk in the carton, and I'm like, well, it's my milk. Huh?
It's my milk, Tucker. God damn it.
And I was like, you can have some of my soy milk if you want to classify yourself as a soy boy.
Dude, nothing wrong with a soy boy.
Nothing wrong with being a soy boy, guys. Don't let the haters online tell you differently. Being a
Yeah.
soy boy has changed my life. Cannot tell you in so many ways how great it is.
Ever since I started eating more soy, I have become the pinnacle of human evolution.
Dude, if you want to counteract the soy, the estrogen in soy. Just eat onions, dude. Just raw onions.
Ew.
They give you testosterone.
I'd cry. Is that why Ogre eats onions?
Is that why Ogre eats
Yeah.
onions?
Is that why Ogre eats onions?
Because it's testosterone? I think it's more just like onions are gross. So, and ogres are gross. So they're like,
Ogres are like onions.
ogre are like onion.
Onions are like ogres.
They
You
have
know,
layers, man.
All ogres are like onions, but not all onions are like ogres.
On that tangent, Shrek 5 is coming out in 2019, right?
So Mike Myers does have a career.
Oh, yeah, he does. Because if I'm not mistaken, Shrek, there's a new Shrek movie coming out next year in 2019.
What are they gonna do?
I think so. Like
Shrek 2 is fine.
Yeah, was that the one where they go to Happily Never After or whatever
Happily
it was
Ever
called?
After.
Happily Ever After.
But it's like done in the way of a Hollywood sign.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember like, oh yeah, because it's right after their wedding and they're riding their onion carriage to their honeymoon.
Yeah.
Happily Ever After. Classic movie, man.
It's
So good. I've seen all the Shrek movies and I don't remember any of them beyond the second one. Like
Did you
I
see
don't.
Puss in Boots?
I did not see Puss in Boots.
Neither did I. I think I've only seen Shrek 1, 2, and which is the one with
How many are there?
Rumpelstiltskin,
No, I didn't see the one with Rumpelstiltskin. I saw the one with Prince Charming.
where he comes back and sets up the play as like a revenge thing.
I have
for
seen the one
Shrek.
with Rumpelstiltskin. Never mind.
Okay.
It was a forgettable film to me, to be honest.
Well, I need to see. You know what? I'm gonna go. Fuck it. Tonight I'm gonna have a double feature with my. I'm gonna go watch Shrek and Shrek 2 back to back.
On my
gonna be a
flight
good night.
recently, Shrek was a viewing option. I didn't watch it for some reason.
I feel like when I go back and watch it, because it's been years since I've actually seen Shrek.
Oh, same.
From like start to finish.
I'd forgotten most of it at this point.
Yeah. I'm sure some of the jokes will land because I'm sure there's a lot of adult jokes that now I'll be like, oh, ha, because my dad was like, because like ass means butt and donkey. And I was like, whoa, double meaning.
Yeah, dude.
Those Shrek writers got it.
I mean, that's what I picked up when I watched.
I have to save my ass.
I gotta mention
such a good line.
Kangaroo Jack in every single podcast.
Well, what are you talking about, Kangaroo Jack?
I picked
Which
up
one?
there was like a lot of adult humor in it that I didn't pick up before.
Like
I
the
was like-
homosexual, like offbeat joke they put in there.
It was very on beat to me. Dude, I laughed my ass off.
On beat for you. It came
Like,
out of nowhere.
Dude, I was just like, oh my god, that's so fun. I laughed so hard. And
What's the joke, Matt?
So
You got it.
Okay, so Lewis and Charlie, they're tied up and
Charlie!
and they're being dragged or they're being like walked behind the bad guys riding on camels, and their hands are tied up behind the camels.
They have dirt in their face and
They
shit.
do, yeah. They're in the dirty outback, and he's like, suddenly Charlie has an idea, man, and he's like, Lewis, reach in my pants, because that's where Charlie keeps his hairstyling scissors.
Yep.
And he's like, and then Lewis is like, Charlie, man, we all have urges. One time there was this well-built Latino, and then Charlie cuts him off. He's like, no, Lewis, my scissors are in there. And that line just, I don't know, like it got me so hard.
I can't remember that line at all.
Yeah, I never
wanna
remembered
go
it
back
either.
to even though you and I just watched Kangaroo Jack like 5 months ago.
Yeah, and when that line dropped, I'd like never heard it before, and I
How many
laughed
times have we
so
mentioned
hard.
Kangaroo Jack?
Dude, we've mentioned Kangaroo Jack on like at least.
The most recent podcast definitely like a string of like the most 5 or 6 recent ones.
I think at least like I probably could not count it on 2 hands how many podcasts we've mentioned Kangaroo Jack or Spy Kids.
Well, you just did it.
They're good. Okay, well, yeah. Now I want someone to actually go back and like listen to all the podcasts and count how many times.
We haven't mentioned OJ in a while.
Okay, OJ. We mentioned Jesus Christ in just about every single video.
He's a big part of like both. I don't know about you, but Jesus Christ was a big part of my life. He was a part of my life until college. That's like most of my life.
Same. And now
Like,
you're making him.
I grew up with Jesus. I
grew up with Jesus,
I went
dude.
through puberty with Jesus.
We went through puberty together. We were always comparing armpit hairs and stuff. Do you
Yeah.
remember when you got like your first armpit hairs and you were like, whoa?
No, what really made me go, whoa, was when I started getting that lip fuzz. And you get kind of like that weird, just kind of Napoleon Dynamite's brother's mustache going on.
I'm still working on it. Yeah. maybe soon I'll be able to experience that.
I remember shaving for the first time. It was very awkward.
Yeah. And then like
I
you
was like, I have to do this now?
and then you feel your lip like after you shave and it's rough and you're like, what?
Kids, when they start growing facial hair, they just look stupid. And I want to go back and I want to see if there's any pictures with that lip fuzz. Like
It's gross, man.
Because there was a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to. What do I do with like? I just get hair on my upper lip. My dad's like, whoa, gotta shave it off.
Yeah, I don't remember the first time I shaved my face.
I just don't like putting razors up to my delicate face.
Delicate, soft little porcelain doll skin.
Soft, delicate porcelain doll.
Well, here's
How
the
do those mix?
It's a porcelain
Is
like
it soft?
yeah,
Is porcelain
porcelain's
soft?
porcelain's one of the softest materials there is.
Known to man.
Like a nice porcelain couch. I sleep on a porcelain bed. That sounds so uncomfortable. A porcelain bed with like porcelain pillows and everything.
Porcelain couch
I want like full porcelain furniture in my place.
with plastic pillows.
Plastic wrapping.
Like you know
what
how they
old
have
people
tumbler
do.
cups? Like they're the plastic that is that material but made for pillows. You can easily crack them.
Porcelain doesn't sound like a word anymore now that we've said it several times.
Porcelain.
'Cause
It's a
like
nice word.
It is a very nice word. Porcelain. It's a beautiful word. You don't say it that often. And now it's like when you say it, it doesn't sound real.
You know what else is a good word?
What?
Chicanery.
Is that a real word?
Yeah.
Chicanery? What does that mean?
It's an episode of Breaking Bad.
No, it's not.
I'm not going to handle this chicanery. This chicanery. That's what his brother says during a case.
No, Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, that's right.
What did I say?
You said Breaking Bad.
Whatever.
And I'm like Breaking Bad. What
Sorry, Better Call Saul. Chicanery, dude.
You're right. That is an episode of that's such an old
It's
person.
a good
word.
episode. That's
It is.
That's gonna be down as one of the classic episodes of Better Call Saul.
Is that the one with the courtroom and Chuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's with Chuck in the courtroom.
That's
not spoiling anything because Chuck's a lawyer and he
Yeah.
spends most of his days in a courtroom. Well, in his personal life, not
Guys, if you haven't seen Better Call Saul, you got some time to watch it before the next season starts.
April? No.
I wish.
Latter half of this year?
Latter half of the year, probably like August.
Yeah, and then Game of Thrones comes out sometime like February 2019. Jesus Christ.
If y'all ain't watching Better Call Saul,
It's good. It's fucking good.
it's great. I could see how I've talked to people that have been turned off after like the first season. Just push through it. It's good.
Well, it's the same type of thing of how some people just couldn't do Breaking Bad after the first episode or two. They couldn't get into it.
'cause it's
I was
too-
like that. I watched the first episode one day, couldn't get into it. Then I went back and watched it. I'm like, how was I not into this? This is so fun and refreshing. And the story is moving along and it doesn't feel like it's stalling because I was so used to watching these Nickelodeon or whatever shows that they would stall the plot purposely for 3 episodes. Or like the biggest offender of that now that I think took me out of just kind of took me out of TV, like watching shows in
Walking
general.
Dead?
Yeah, Walking
Yeah.
Dead. Walking Dead.
We'll spend like a whole season in one place.
And that's not bad. It's just that the actions they were doing did not progress the plot any further. And when you're not progressing the plot, what's the point of this season? Like, I like to feel like the TV shows have a point and a purpose. And Breaking Bad definitely had a point and a purpose.
It's always moving.
Every episode, at least, it benefited the plot.
It moves the story along every episode. There's like no episodes you could really skip. There's one episode you could skip. Fly.
I don't think you should skip.
No,
it.
you shouldn't.
It's like one of my favorite episodes.
It's so good. But I watched 2 episodes of Breaking Bad last night.
You did? Which ones?
3 and 4. Because
Season 1?
just
Okay.
because I've been starting to watch that again. I watched some of it while I was in Japan. I was watching Breaking Bad.
I think I'm gonna rewatch Arrested Development soon.
Dude, that's a classic rewatch.
Yeah,
I love rewatching it.
I just think season 4. I know it's a popular thing to say, and it wasn't awful. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. I guess.
I know what you mean, yeah.
As I said, it wasn't bad. It just didn't feel as snappy and quick. You know?
Yeah.
It felt like
It wasn't as witty.
Yeah.
It was just like, eh.
I feel like that has to do a lot with the banter. The banter didn't seem as natural.
And also they had the characters all
Sometimes.
separated, you know?
Yeah, and the big part of that show is the A plot, B plot, C plot, all that type of shit. But
Yeah.
now there was really only, one character in an episode, which it tried a new style, and I commend it for that. And it was still a funny show. There were still a lot of funny gags.
Yeah, lots
In
of
the,
like there were a lot of
new
funny
season.
moments in the most recent season of Arrested Development. I'm excited for the 5th season. I hope they, learned they can right their wrongs. Like the
Yeah.
writers are like, oh, well, this is what we did wrong and why people didn't like it. So let's go back to this format or let's do that.
I've been watching this series on Netflix recently where it's all about, and it's just depressing. The first episode tore me up. It's all about people who are innocent that are convicted,
Oh
like
shit.
for life.
That's
of
like my
murder.
worst nightmare.
And it's like, the thing is, outside looking in, it's obvious they're innocent. Could you imagine something you did when you were 15 or 14 affected the rest of your life, even though you were innocent? And it's after this traumatic thing. And when you're coming back from this traumatic event, because after a traumatic event, event, usually, I'm not going to say you don't have control over your actions, but you're more susceptible to stupid things, I would say.
Yeah.
And this kid...
You're in a weakened emotional state.
Yeah, and so in this weakened emotional state, he definitely did some stupid things, but it's unfortunate that those stupid things led to his wrongful conviction.
Is he still convicted? Oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess I don't want to spoil it, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you.
I can't imagine, like, how awful that would be being, wrongfully convicted of something that you had nothing to do with, and then you have to go to prison and, like, face prison.
It's like you can't really defend yourself after that when there's like, yeah, no chance of parole, sorry. And you wait and you used all of your, what is it called? When you go back, it's kind of like a retrial.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess? Yeah.
And the crazy thing about that is, like, of course, like, even the courts would never want to admit that because that's such a tremendous error. And
when you've heard of the stories of the guys going to jail for like 20-something years and all of a
they were
sudden,
innocent.
oh yeah, they're innocent. New DNA evidence found that the guy's innocent.
And then, like, they set them free and they're like, here's $200,000.
You just ruin this person's life. Like, taking 20 years away. Like, a lot has happened for me in the past 3 years.
And your
let's say,
adult
since I
life,
was
20 years is a substantial chunk of your life. You know, you lose people in that time.
Yeah.
You miss opportunities. You miss so much.
Going from let's say that happens to you at 23. You're 43 when you come out of that shit, or even close to 50. How do you go back into society after not learning? I mean, you should be a learned adult, of course, by 23, but there's still so much, I think, that you're developing in terms of social skills and interacting as an adult with people, that if you're kept away from that, like society, and you're put in this pen for that long and you're innocent, it's just got to fuck with your ability to socially commit to the society.
And I think the hardest part about that is how much you missed, like, you know, like, lovers would move on, your family, you'd lose family members, they would die, friends things would happen, they'd go away, they'd
Most of
move
your friends
on.
would forget about you.
You would miss, like, your life you'd have to start over. Like, everyone minus, like, maybe a few old friends and family members would just be gone.
But a lot of your friends and family are like, yeah, he didn't do it, but he's serving time in jail. I don't know why, but yeah, he's innocent. Like, I know he's innocent because he was with me that night. That's weird.
But then it sounds like just the family members, even of, like, convicted killers, are like, no, they didn't do it, they never did it, even though it's like they clearly did. But it's like, that's crazy, man.
That's like a huge fear of mine, to be convicted at that extent for a crime I had no idea what happened or committed and stuff like
the
that.
perfect, like, coincidence.
Yeah,
And
the
you get
perfect
arrested.
coincidence, because those exist. I mean, there are a lot of court cases like that end in someone's conviction who's innocent. But of course, I think a majority of convictions are probably earned now. When you think about it, when you think of traffic tickets, violent crime, robbery, stuff like that. But then there's these cases where it's like, is this justice is it worth it to have this justice system corral crime like this, even though in a few select instances it handles it a horrible way? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it worth it? I'm not saying like it is or isn't. I'm just saying, I guess that's the dilemma here.
Yeah.
Is catching the majority, is it risking sacrificing the few over like a bad lawyer or a bad judge or bad circumstance?
Yeah, and I think, like, not to get too political, but, like, well, the American justice system, I think, is, like, really messed up. But the hard thing is, like, most countries have a super fucked up justice system. And it's like, how do you have a good justice system?
It's hard.
It's really hard. Like, maybe only a handful of countries have an actually, like, decent justice system.
Well, because the justice system for the longest time, even in America, was just linked to a lot of groups and a lot of people that were self-beneficial, of course, and still is today in terms of prison systems and governments. And it's you think of Martin Scorsese movies. There was a time, and there's a reason that these stereotypes exist, where it's like, the dirty cop. Because there were a lot of dirty cops, 20, 30 years ago. There's probably still a lot of dirty cops today.
Oh, of course.
But
And there was that sting operation. I forgot. There's a movie about it where, like, 2/3 of the NYPD or LAPD, I don't remember which one.
I mean, it's a major city.
Was, like, found on corruption. Like, 2/3 of the whole police task. It's like, what the fuck?
It's crazy.
And you don't just get rid of that. Like, new cops come in, and I guarantee it's the same shit.
And to think about, just in general, think about, like, in the 70s, 80s, or even 90s, you could argue, and today in certain circumstances, of course, but I'm more talking about, like, a 70s era, 60s, 70s, I guess, 50s even. Sorry, I'm going back. Most cops were just racist.
Yeah.
It was just they had to.
Well, the justice system was.
That's because the law was racist. So in upholding the racist law, they of course had to be racist to uphold the law. And that's not like they were forced to be racist. It's just like the justice system
Segregation and
prevailed
stuff.
in terms of hiring people that were racist because that's what the laws were. And that's just how the system worked. And it's an unfortunate time in history. And when you look at that, it's like, shit, you know, a lot of people back then, unless they were in a community that was being targeted, probably didn't see that and was like, oh, you know, business as usual. I wonder how many people, like how much is actually fixed, or if 20 years down the road,
I think it's a long way to go.
We'll be talking down like, God, do you remember all those fucking cases in the early 2000s?
Yeah.
Like what will it be like? Because history takes a while to digest usually and to get all the stories, you know, in proper order because it's hard to take things as they happen. So when we look back and we see all these stories and the times and the dates and the instances and the proof and all that other stuff, you know, what will the depiction of law enforcement be of this time 30 years from now?
I also think it's hard to make a lot of progress in terms of like civil rights issues and stuff when a lot of the people that are in power are like old. 60 and 70-year-old dudes, and it's like the time they grew up in is that different. Time completely different, and it's like they're still in power, and you know that they're not open-minded.
No, well, like
some of them are, but
I'm not even saying this, but like look at our parents, and that's not saying like our parents are racist, but like when you talk to your mom or dad, like when I talk to my mom or dad or stepdad or stepmom, you know, they came from a different time.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, technology, social situations. It's weird to think about that when my mom was born, you know, this person she's not old by any stretch of the word. But she lived she existed when major civil rights movements were like still going on, and there was I don't know, it's just weird to think about. Like it wasn't that long ago this shit happened. Right? Like in terms of, oh dude, that was 40, 50 years ago, whatever, all that stuff. It's like that's in terms of history, that's not a long time.
Not at all.
And yes, things are. I have to see that things, yes, are progressively getting better, but at a super slow rate. Of course,
I think they've slowed down considerably.
Well, slowed down, but I still things are better off than they were in the 70s and 60s.
Oh, 100%.
Then the 80s were better than the 70s. You know, it gets better, but I think now there's a big spotlight right now. You know, every decade there's a big spotlight event, and we were caught in a big spotlight event, you could say, of all these happenings and wrongful shootings that happened probably within the last decade.
Yeah.
That people have been talking about because the news cycle and the internet has brought it all to the forefront, which is like really cool. Which is also interesting because there's, even with recent events, you see people spreading a lot of false information. It's easier for that false information to get out there.
Yeah.
And it's just a lesson to learn that you can listen to any podcast you want, listen to this podcast, listen to, you know, as I said, any podcast you want, but you also have to make sure to do your own research and check up on sources that you trust. And also, you know, see what people are saying in the different side of the aisle that you don't really, that you don't agree with. Because I do feel like as much as people who lean left like to hear what's on the left, it's very healthy to kind of actually listen to someone on the right who's not batshit crazy, just like how someone
Alex Jones.
Well, like, you know, there's Alex Jones of the right, you know, there's that Alex Jones of the left, and so people on the right only kind of visualize the left when they talk in terms of left and right. When it's that simple, they categorize that, okay, they're all like this one person, or they're all like this one group, much like how the left is like, oh, they're all like this one group. When there is a majority middle grounded people, there are people that are, you know, more in the middle and more in the respective left and right than the far left and right. But it is difficult to gauge sometimes just because of all the news sources that are out there, whether they're good or bad, trustworthy or not. So it's definitely an interesting time, and we're definitely going to look back and go, wow, can you believe like all of this shit we could just spew out, and like things were so confusing in terms of getting the story right.
I'd recommend using websites like Snopes and PolitiFact and stuff like that to check sources and check the validity of things, because those are pretty good, trusted websites. in my opinion.
I want to see how history books of this time are written.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Because you remember when we were in high school, that part of the history book was really new, was the 9/11
Yeah, the 9/11 section. And like George Bush and like the beginning of the Iraq War.
Yeah, and it was really interesting reading all of that from just a historical book. This is what happened type of.
Yeah, it's like the newest chapter in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, that'd be interesting to read a history book in like 5 years and see just like what's written down.
Yeah, just got to pay $200 first.
These fucking textbooks are like so ridiculously expensive.
Never buy new textbooks.
That's
Come
why
on.
I torrented mine.
Go get used textbooks or electronic textbooks. Honestly, today, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, I think it was just kind of reaching out when I was in high school. Not just reaching out, but I was around the time when electronic textbooks were becoming a big thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they were still testing it, and the company needed to make sure they had a way where people couldn't download them illegally, I guess, but a lot of people did because it's fucking free.
Yeah. Share with your friends. That's how I got by. I mooched off my friends' textbooks that I share classes with because I'm like, I'll give you $20. I'm not buying a $400 textbook.
I see, and like I get it, you know, money goes towards education, quote unquote, every now and then when you talk about that type of stuff. But
there was no reason a textbook should be $400.
It's a business.
It's ridiculous.
Unfortunately,
100%.
It's a business.
That's so stupid.
I know.
Like,
That's
fucking,
why
like you have to pay for the course, which is like thousands already, and then it's like, oh, also you need this required textbook that you're going to use 3 times, and it's $400.
Even though all the information from that textbook, you could easily go and check out a book in the library, but the school won't allow you to do that. You have to get the textbook, or else it's like, oh, you don't get to do the homework because there's specific questions in this textbook that aren't in that textbook.
And there's some textbooks that apparently like professors, if they use
you're paying
those,
for homework. Holy fuck! I just thought about that.
That sucks.
When you think, you know how they had questions in the book? It's like, do the questions in the book that you paid fucking $100 for in the beginning of the year.
You're paying to do homework.
Fuck. Like in high
Sweet,
school
dude.
and middle school and shit like that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to get in the textbook business. That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
We should make a college course on how to be Let's Players, create our own textbook, charge $600 for it, and make it mandatory for the class. Genius business model right there.
Are there any Ebonics textbooks?
I don't know.
I want an Ebonics Bible.
That probably exists, and if
I
not,
think
you can
I've
be the
looked it
first
up.
person
I
to write it,
couldn't
Ryan.
I don't think I could. I would love to rewrite the Bible, but in my tone and my voice. Like if I did that, how many copies would it sell?
A handful.
Like I'd rewrite I just do the New Testament though. Old Testament's fine and dandy, but
It's
New
fine and
Testament's
dandy how
where
it
it's
is.
at. New Testament's that good shit.
It's like kick-ass shit, dude. Sort of like that's where the cool shit happens. Dude, speaking of cool shit, what do you say we get out of here and do some cool shit? Like go do some flips on a bicycle.
Okay.
Like a tandem bike, take it BMX.
I call the front seat.
Okay, great. I'll get the back seat.
Lego gets the back seat. So you have to be in the middle.
The middle of a tandem bike
Yeah.
where there's no seat.
Yeah.
I'll just hang on to the little bar.
Yeah.
That'd be terrifying.
You have to be upside down with the with a I don't know what the opposite of a mohawk is, but it's where the tire's gonna just grate down your hair to just be.
I don't think that
nothing in
hairstyle
the middle.
exists. Where instead of it's like an inverted mohawk.
Yeah.
Where it's just
Where
like
it's like-
shaved down the middle because that would look so bad.
Well, you look like I guess like a pincer.
You look like a
real
you're-
goofball.
You're balding, but only in a strip down the middle of your head.
Some kid watching our podcast right now that has that exact haircut. It's just
the
like
fuck?
crying. Just Jesus.
I thought it like he just got it, and he
Yeah.
he's never felt more confident in his life. And then he hears us say that, and he's just like broken. Well, just go ahead and shave the rest of your head.
Yeah.
Just that's a tip from us.
So
anyway,
huh?
you can. I mean,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
You go ahead.
Oh, you were about to
end it.
Okay, we were
End
both
it.
about to end it. Thank you all for tuning in. Another great podcast recording here with my buddy Matt, my
Thanks.
best friend Matt.
Thanks, Ryan.
You know, we come out with a podcast every Friday. I think it releases or should release on iTunes and do we release on other Yeah, we released on other podcast apps too.
It is, yes. Google Play Music. Still trying to get on Spotify. If anyone knows any contacts with Spotify, please help us.
Yes,
that would
please,
really
thank
be
you.
awesome. They're just really unresponsive. We've tried like 2 times now.
Yeah, so just remember, new podcast every Friday, and then probably during the weekend it'll be uploaded. More than likely during the weekend it'll be uploaded to an iTunes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to help support us more, listen to it through YouTube, because that's a better way to support us and the podcast.
Yeah, because that's how we get those advertisements. So
Yeah.
so thanks, guys. That really does. I mean, if you're listening on iTunes, don't sweat it. Thanks for
Yeah.
just listening is good support.
Yeah, and if you're listening on iTunes, another way to support us if you're not listening through YouTube is by leaving a review of the podcast if you like it. Go ahead,
rate it.
Rate the podcast however you see fit, and just spread the word because I love doing this podcast. Matt loves doing this
I
podcast.
love doing it.
I'd
It's
assume.
fun. That's why we've done 81 episodes.
So yeah, we definitely want to keep doing this. So to support us, watch on YouTube or rate us or share us. Do whatever you feel we deserve.
Absolutely. And big guests coming soon. Got a couple of them.
Oh yeah, the biggest guest we've ever had.
So get not sure when yet, but get ready for that.
We have it locked down.
We do have it locked down. All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week. I wish I could kiss all of you. Not on the lips because I don't want to get sick. Give you a little kiss on the forehead, like between your eyes. Like,
Yeah, plus a kiss on the lips to all of our fans. There's a wide age range.
that actually, you know what? I take the kiss thing back because I'm sure there's many fans under the age of 18, and I don't want
But those who are, let's say, over 20.
Okay, 20 to be safe.
18 and 19 is still like high schooly.
Yeah, let's say over 20. Okay,
Yeah.
and attractive, at least a 7. At least a 7.
a 7 on the not on the Richter scale.
A 7 on the hotness scale. So if you're
Like my
over the age
fat
of
shaming joke.
I didn't even get it until you said that. If you're a 7 on the scale of how hot you are and over the age of 20, I'd love to give you a kiss on the forehead. So,
Yeah. And if you can't find love through Matt's kisses because you're not of that age, you could wait till you are of age and sign up for eHarmony.
you're absolutely good.
So go ahead and do that to support your boys if you want.
All right, guys. Love you so much. See you next week. Bye.